right, hello Planet Funk Con. How you doing?
Great.
Hey, yeah, and day number 2. Hope you still got the energy.
Yeah. Thank you.
So thank you for coming to our panel. Got some wonderful actors up here with me. We have Speight. We have Janeshia Adams-Ginyard. Okay, that's me. And Max Arciniega. And so what we're going to do here is I got just a few questions to kind of warm up and get to know each other, and then I'll open it up to the audience. So first question would be your origin stories. What got you into the entertainment business?
Wow. Ladies first. Hi, y'all. Welcome to Planet Funk Con. If you're asleep, we about to wake the fuck up now. So my origin story into the industry, I would like to say it has a lot to do with my athletics. I was an athlete my whole entire life. I did track and field as a young lad all the way through high school and college. And then after college, I was on the U.S. National Bobsled team as a brakeman. Yes, I know Cool Runnings. I am half Jamaican. So now that we know that, after bobsledding, I decided I wanted to do Nike. So I did a lot of Nike commercials, Nike print jobs, things like that. And then they started hiring me as like a jock on different shows and projects. And so someone was like, hey, like you should totally do stunts since you're like super athletic. And I was like, well, what is stunts? And so then I found out what that was. And so fast forward, now I'm sitting here in Davenport, Iowa, as an Emmy-nominated stunt woman, actress, and voice actor. So boom, I've truncated my whole life for y'all. Yes.
Well, my story's not that exciting, and it's hard to follow that up. But I think the acting bug. I watched The Wizard of Oz as a kid, and I was fascinated by the Cowardly Lion, and just fascinated by the movie in general, and the fact that you can watch something like that and have a beautiful experience. And then in 5th grade, there was an acting teacher that got assigned to our school. We didn't have a drama program or anything like that, but it was one year where this drama teacher came and helped all the students from 5th through 8th grade write, produce, direct, and do everything to put up this play. And so it was the first time that I got a taste of what the community was like, everyone getting together to tell a story, to make our own costumes, write our own scenes, and put it up. And so it was just a really exciting process. But then I didn't come back to acting until high school, I believe. No, I'm sorry, maybe like my senior year of high school. Through that time I was playing soccer from the age of 6 to like 20. I actually traveled here to Iowa for soccer tournaments. And so I had like a parallel life, a soccer sports life, and then an entertainment life, which consisted of breakdancing. My brother was a graffiti artist. My family members were breakdancers and what else, DJs and stuff like that. So I was always performing house music, breakdancing, then started getting into poetry, which turned into hip-hop music and performing, not doing hip-hop, and then came back to taking some acting classes like my senior year of high school. Then when I got into college, I was a theater major at Columbia College, downtown Chicago. After I graduated, I went, had a choice to either go to New York or Los Angeles, and I decided to try LA because I wanted to do TV and film. And so, and then yeah, I went out there, started from scratch, and started, auditioning for every possible show. I auditioned 76 times before I got my first co-star gig.
Wow.
And then just kind of started from there.
Wow. 76?
So you actually counted 76?
You're right.
Yeah. It's stuck in my head.
Yeah.
Yes. Yo.
I would have stopped at 10. But
Yeah.
Now what is the question again, how we get started?
Yeah, origin story.
Man, that's always a difficult question for me because I guess I just go back to when my sister and I were 3 and 4 years old. My mother was playing the piano, and we were a little gospel group called the Speight Specials, singing "Jesus Built a Fence All Around Me" and "This Little Light of Mine, I'm going," and all that. So that was my first introduction to to the stage and being in front of people. And then from there, my ADD kicked in, the ADD kicked in, and all that stuff kicked in. So I'm breaking things around the house. I'm running around like a crazy monkey. And my mother found this little thing called Little League Baseball. She put me in that. So to pull all that energy. And so from there, skip up to like junior high, high school, played basketball. I went all through high school playing 3 sports, football, basketball, track, honored and everything, high school Hall of Fame, soon to be my college Hall of Fame. Got a scholarship to Morgan State University in Baltimore. All-American, everything, man. I just, couldn't keep still. My grandma used to pinch me on my thigh in church, telling me, keep still. And she didn't have no nails because women back in those days didn't give manicures. So she just grabbed skin and twisted it, and which was my skin. So, long story short, I don't know if I can do that at this part, but let's just try. There was a movie called Meteor Man. Well, actually, I took theater in college. I forgot. So I took theater in college. I managed, but I dropped the class twice because I didn't want my football teammates to see me on stage in the tutu being a tree.
Wow.
Wasn't good. And then come to find out, a couple of my teammates said, man, why you should have stuck with it and all this, so, but God has a journey for all of us. So basically, from there, it was a movie that came to Baltimore, that's where I'm from, called Meteor Man. Robert Townsend directed it and had everybody in it, Luther Vandross, Sinbad, and Bill Cosby was in it without the drugs. Although one time I drank something, man, I was a little woozy, I don't know. I saw Bill in the distance like this going, but I'm just kidding, these are jokes. I'm on Instagram Live, by the way, so let me tell everybody, say what's up. So this is a panel, I'm in Davenport, Iraq. I'm sorry, just kidding. Davenport, Iowa. What's up? Let me hear you one more time. He's been hanging out with Bill Cosby too, so he's a little losing. But anyway, so I became an extra in this movie called Meteor Man after finishing school. I went on to sign with the Baltimore Stars in Louisville, and then I played a game with the Dallas Cowboys, with the New York Giants. And then that was my football career, so I cried, wiped my tears, because I thought I was born to play football. Everything was football, 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 football. But I was All-American track too. And Morgan State, we were bad, man. We ran 303-mile relay, everything, man. We went to all the big carnival meets and participated in the NCAA 2-and-1 championships. So for little black HBCU in Baltimore, man, we used to represent, and we used to shut them down. So, let's speed up a little bit. So, became an extra Meteor Man. I was a Blood, because I came to set with a red sweatsuit. So, they put me with the Bloods. He had the Bloods and the Crips. The Bloods was naughty by nature. No, the Bloods were naughty by, the Crips were naughty by nature. The Bloods were Cypress Hill. If y'all remember the movie. And so, I did that, and I was like, okay, all right, I'm not ready to finish calling the day as being a professional athlete. So I got into pro wrestling. We did there for a minute, became Rasta la Voodoo Man. And then after that, I went to Atlanta, worked out with WCW, and then I got snatched up by a promoter over in Europe, and I went to Europe for a year to wrestle. And then I came back and worked out with Dory Funk at WWE. At the time it was WWF, but now it's WWE. And then after that, it was time to get in my little buggy and drive across the country because I was still in Baltimore. And got me an agent at a bar. And no, I didn't bang her. And so I said, Joe, people, loosen up, Alvin, loosen up, come on. They sitting there like it's church. Anyway, so from there, I worked my tail off in LA. This was 1999. So I paid my dues, and since then, I've been fortunate enough to work with Michael Bay, Oliver Stone, Damon Wayans, Eddie Murphy, Norbit, Dwayne and Faster, and I had that little Super Bowl commercial by the name of Terry Tate, offensive linebacker, and Coltrane, baby, Gears of War, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So, yes.
Well, that's all of our time, y'all. So, I'm just kidding.
Well, so you all have such wonderful, rich experiences from different ways of performance, athletics, stage, screen, music, things like that. What are some of the things you really enjoy about the different media, if you will, or performance options?
I'll go first. Things that I enjoy. Yeah. So I will say, I call myself a multi-hyphenate, right? I do everything except for ride a motorcycle. And when I'm on set, what I really love about being in the entertainment industry is that I know I'm operating out of my purpose and my passion, first of all. I know that my energy changes environments and conditions and people. So that's like one of the main things that I like and I enjoy. Another thing is that I enjoy being able to put on a costume that I know is for me, with my name in the tag and all of that. And I will specifically reference Black Panther, the first one that came out in 2018. So we shot this movie starting in 2016 through to 2017. And through the process of going through the wardrobe fittings and costumes and things like that, it was very rewarding for me because I had Marvel on my vision board. I grew up with vision boards. My mom was very big into it. And I truly believe that what you put out into the universe will come back to you, good or bad. So it's very important that you know that there's power in the tongue, right? And so Marvel was on my vision board. I knew I always wanted to work for the MCU and be a superhero. Fast forward, I prayed every day for 6 months straight, starting in April of 2016 to September 2016, saying thank you, God, in advance for Black Panther. So you have to imagine how I felt when I finally went into costumes and wardrobe and they're fitting me specifically for a superhero costume with my name embroidered on each piece, labeled on each piece, duct taped with each piece. It was absolutely rewarding and I felt so blessed and I felt like all my hard work has paid off, all my positive affirmations had been returned to me. And yes, so I would say I enjoy knowing that I changed environments and conditions, but also knowing that I'm doing something that I love to do and that my hard work has gotten me here and my obedience has gotten me here and I can just be these different roles and have costumes that specifically have my name on it.
I think for me, the two mediums that I work in now specifically are as an actor and then as a writer. Since I was a kid, I love both. I just, the experience of watching a movie and how it affects you and, in every possible way, depending on where you're at the moment. I feel like you watch specific movies and they kind of meet you where you're at and it's like this is the movie you're supposed to be watching right now. So being part of that as an actor and being the vessel to the audience in the storytelling has always been just a profound experience and something that I take very seriously too, And so from the writing side, I write scripts and I sold a script a few years ago and got my first movie made and sold. It's called The Wing Walker. It'll come out I believe in limited theatrical release in September of this year. But having that experience of, writing the movie and going through the entire creation process takes me back to the early days of writing poetry and writing music and writing in general. And that specific process is very different than getting a script and saying words of another writer, for instance, right? And so I always wanted to experience that part. And so that part, when you're at home, you're on your own and you're writing and creating, that creative process, the process of creation for me is probably the most exciting process for me. And then having gone through the entire process of finding money for the movie, you know, dealing with the business side of things, understanding how movies get sold and distribution and marketing. It was like taking a master class in that space. So they are two completely different mediums, but I believe that, you know, it's storytelling at the end of the day, and I enjoy both sides, the acting and the writing. So.
So I guess as y'all can tell, I do some stand-up comedy. And right now I'm doing sit-down comedy. But it was funny. Come on, y'all, welcome. So, like I tell most people, there are more jobs behind the camera than there are in front of the camera. So I've been fortunate enough to I think I've done 3 shorts. I directed 3 shorts. And then I just finished directing my first feature 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
So it's called The Ronald B.B. Shaver Story, and it's about redemption. An all-state player of the year, football player in Virginia in 1989. He decided to kind of try to hustle and make some money, and he got popped and did 19 years straight. So he's got out and he turned his life around, and I've been fortunate enough to be able to direct and bring his story, which right now we're shopping. We got 4 streamers looking at us. Obviously Netflix, they want to put their thumb on everything. So we don't mind, do we?
Yeah.
No. So directing is something that I spent, besides stand up and acting, and he was saying bringing other writers' words to life, and I had a little bit of my words coming to life in Ronald's story, because I got a chance to change some stuff. So, but it is a bug too, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, and then, you know, needless to say, training, working out, trying to stay fit. I'm in my 60s now. I know I don't look it, but yes. So, and the only reason I'm carrying that cane because my God-given ligaments have said goodbye. And I gotta get what they call knee replacement pretty soon if I'm gonna go that route. I've had stem cell, but that's like watching grass grow. So, and but I'm a music enthusiast. I'm smooth jazz, old school R&B music, as well as I dabble. You know, I can sit through some opera and some Shakespearean plays and different things like that. Othello, I played him at a dinner theater back in 1998 before I moved here. So just trying to keep life simple, raise my, be a dad and all that, raise my daughter, and try to stay away from protesters in LA. Okay. That's a protest, okay. That's it. You know.
Yes. Yes.
So I know y'all have a lot of different projects. What is some type of project, entertainment-wise or another creative pursuit, that you would find a fun challenge to stretch into, to grow into?
Okay, so I actually, this is, wow, alignment. Okay, so there's like 2 different things, but I'm gonna say this one thing. So I just had a conversation with someone literally yesterday in regards to them telling me that they had just worked on a project they did, and they did a sex scene. And so I would not mind being like an intimacy coordinator on a project where I am making sure that scenes of sexual content, rapes, things like that are really done and handled with care and love and tasteful, right? Some things we don't have to show to let us know that some shit happened, So I would not mind doing that, being like an intimacy coordinator. And then also, I would not mind being a director of an action project. Because I find when I'm doing action projects as the talent and then stunts, a lot of times, believe it or not, if it's an action project, action is the first thing to go when the money start running out. And you're like, how can that happen? It's an action movie. Trust me, I've had several scenes of projects. And they're like, sorry, we have to cut your scene. I'm like, but it's the coolest scene. You know, I'm like falling downstairs and being like blasted down the hallway. It's like, I know, but we gotta just get some more dialogue in here. I'm like, this is a fucking action movie, right? So I would love to be action movie director, and then where all the action that that the writers wanted to be in the movie actually stays. Because in most of these action movies, there's a lot of action y'all don't see. It gets cut because the money is gone. But we're gonna have an action movie that I direct, and all the action that the writers wanted, we'll make it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
You just better make sure the check clears.
Oh, the check on clear. The check on clear.
The check don't clear, those stunts will not get done.
The check's gonna clear.
You'll be doing every single one.
Spoken like a director.
Right.
That's awesome. Yeah. For me, I hit 55,000 words of my first novel today. So yeah, that's where I want to go next. I want to write novels. Yeah.
What kind of book is it?
It's I would say literary fiction. Yeah. Combination of a love story and thriller elements. Yeah.
Nice.
I would say if you asked this question a month ago, I would say directing a feature. So I've already done that. I don't have
Action, and I'm a co-director, and then none of the stuff gets cut out, you know?
I gotta come get you, and you're gonna be my first AD.
Oh, yes!
And stunt coordinator.
Yes,
Okay.
that's right.
So I don't have any, honestly, I just don't, I'm going to North Carolina, because that's where our editing studio is. So I gotta put the bells and whistles on the movie. So that's my homework for now. Is to get it, you know, it's in the can, and so then we gotta get it all, you know, cross the T's and dot the I's. So that's where we're at now. That's where I'm at right now.
Nice.
Well, some different themes that I'm hearing through all of your discussions are the power of storytelling, right? So like, you know, you create the power of the tongue and being able to affect environments, inspiration. So where do you see your art, or how do you see your art being a way to sort of engage the community, use the platform you have to make those potential changes in people's lives?
I'll go first. It's you know, you just put your heart and soul into it, and then you just have to spin the wheel, because it becomes the public. It becomes, you know, if they're gonna like it, they're gonna feel about the way they're gonna feel, and you just kind of, you're vulnerable at that point, because you just gotta kind of let, you know, if was it Ebert and what was the other guy's name? Roger Ebert. No, if they give you thumbs up, that's great, and then so don't get too caught up in the good stuff about your project, and don't get too caught up in, you know, where people may be criticizing it and talking, you know, because we live in, you know, social network is alive today. People really voice their opinions like never before. So I just would say, just try to get your project done, get it out there, get your novel done, get your writing complete, get some stunts, you know, and then just, it's like your child. You gotta let it grow up. And so here's what I'm bringing to the country, and then there it is. So that's for me. Just getting this documentary done, and then getting the home for it, finding a home for it, like Peacock, Netflix, Hulu, whatever. I don't discriminate, as long as you know.
The check clears.
As long as the check clears, it can be on Tubi. I don't give a damn. You might be right in the hood, right there on Tubi. That money's green too.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Doing the work, not asking permission, just doing it, right?
Yeah, because you only have so much control in this business, and you go crazy trying to, you know, think that you got these abilities to do everything, but at some point in time, you know, these are variables that you have to cross, and you have to try to, you know, deal with, and then just don't let all that stress you out. That's really keep your sanity. So get it done. Say, here you go. Here's my homework. I hope y'all like it. And if you don't, kiss my butt. That's it. That's it. You know. So. Yeah. I got a question. Sisters. Twins, there you go, okay. Because I'm looking like, man, did y'all hear about the twins that just, one of the twins from the Whispers, Walter? Are you familiar? Y'all listen to R&B music?
Not much.
Not much.
I like it.
You ever heard of the Whispers? There's an R&B group called the Whispers. Two twin brothers. One of the brothers passed away.
What did they do?
They sang R&B.
What? Specifically?
Oh, I would just YouTube. Go to YouTube, put in the Whispers, and you'll see. And one of the brothers, they were twins, and he just passed away like a couple days ago. You girls, y'all know, right? What I'm talking about?
I don't know the Whispers.
Yeah, so that's what. But y'all look, I'm sitting there going, they gotta be twins, so I was right. Yeah.
That's even better on my videos.
There you go. Who's taller? She is. Who's first? So you big sister. Huh? How many minutes?
3.
3 minutes? You be talking shit, that's only 3 minutes.
You don't keep our mother waiting.
Ah!
That's awesome. So I think your question was referring to kind of like how, making impact with the stories that you tell. Yeah. The script that I wrote called The Wing Walker it's a story about a father and daughter, but the backdrop is a story about immigration. And so I think, you know, my parents came from Mexico to the United States and became citizens during the Reagan administration when they had their amnesty. And so my brother, my sister, and I, we all went to college. It's kind of like first generation Mexican-American. You want to make your parents proud, make sure that, you know, their sacrifices were worth what they sacrificed. And so that movie, it took 10 years to make, but I think that all art is an attempt at something, right? It's an attempt at the story we're trying to tell. But when you're working in film, things change. You know, there's a lot of rewriting, there's a lot of editing that happens, things change in the story, so you have to allow it to be malleable in every single process, including getting, you know, for instance, an edit to the distributors. And luckily we had, our budget was about $5 million bucks, and then we had distribution in Mexico and all of Latin America through Disney, so it was a studio release out there. And then, you know, it's coming here to the States, so the whole point behind it is that there's something that naturally came in the writing that, you know, these are experiences that I've experienced. The director is a Mexican director who was born in Mexico, and I was born here as a Mexican American, so we kind of took these ideas and explored the idea of one of the hottest topics in the United States right now, right? And I think it's not a movie that poses answers. It's a movie that asks questions and allows the audience to experience the perspectives of both Americans and Mexicans who come here from, you know, from Mexico. And so I think that whether you like it or not, you can't run from the things that are part of you. And if you are a writer, they will creep up and show up in whatever characters that you write. The novel that I'm working on has similar, you know, tones. The next script that I'm working around is, you know, my upbringing in Chicago, the communities that I grew up in, that deals in the world of gun violence prevention in the Black and brown communities. And so, you know, these things, they make it to the page, you know, and I feel that it's my responsibility to, as an artist, to present those questions to the audience and allow them to experience what they're going to experience. And like he said, you know, once it's given to the audience, they have every right to feel the way that they feel, to give the opinions that they have, to, you know, it's theirs at that point once we release it. And so it's a wonderful, you know, give and take between the audience and the creatives and the art makers. It's supposed to be that. It's supposed to allow us to ask questions and look at ourselves and, you know, reflect on where we're at as a country, as people, and as a community, because we're all here together in the United States, and we should be loving each other.
Yeah, that's legit. I would say how I like to make an impact. I'm really big into like education. I want people to be educated with the work that I do, and so I told you I'm Jamaican, right? So Jamaicans have like 9 jobs. So in addition, another notch for me, as I'm a playwright, I wrote 3 plays before the pandemic happened. We were actually going on tour, and then COVID happened and we had to stop. We were getting ready to go to Portland and then Oakland. And so when I decided to write these plays, because I wrote 3, I wanted to educate people on Black history, which is also American history. But we all know that during Black History Month, you only learn about 2 people, Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. And if there's any others, they're stuck together on a page that we ain't never seen. So I said, how can I educate people on other African American inventors, impactors, you know? And so I wrote these plays, and I believe that people can retain information through humor. I know I can. I've seen how people have been able to merge education and laughter, and you retain that information, and it just carries on with you. So I did those 3 plays, and I spoke about, there's a lady called Velda Davis, Velda, don't quote me, I can't remember right now, but she was actually the inventor of the Playboy bunny costume, right? This is a Black lady, and she worked very closely with Hugh Hefner. So I did a deep dive into people. I talked about Oprah. A lot of people don't really know her real name is actually Orpah, right? And so I was just educating people on all these different African American people. So fast forward, I also did a podcast, but it's not really a podcast, it was actually a TV show. And we did it in a restroom. It was called Shit Talk with Janeshia Adams-Ginyard. We were actually doing season 2. And I had 6 of my celebrity friends come to my podcast that they had no idea was actually recording in a restroom. And we talked about things that they had really never talked about in other interviews that they did. I'm all about education. It was funny because we go to the bathrooms all the time, at least girls do, and we just talk shit. That's where we just, we talk across the stalls, we talk at the sink, and while we're washing our hands, I'm like, how cool would it be to do a podcast in a restroom when none of the guests know that they're actually going to do it in a restroom, and get their initial honest reaction of them showing up, and then we're, shooting the shit while they're on the crap or I'm in the tub, I'm sitting on the sink, and you're being educated about things you didn't know about them because they don't really share those things with normal, other hosts and stuff. So yeah, I'm all about educating and leaving an impact that way, and you laughing about it but retaining the information. Yeah.
Can I
Yes.
you're burning me up over here, right? So this is for clarity. You girls are talking shit to each other while you're actually dropping deuces.
I'm just saying, women go to the restrooms all the time, and they chit chat and they talk, and we talk about y'all sometimes.
Man, we don't talk in stalls.
Y'all don't talk in stalls?
We handle business and we get out.
Oh my God.
Y'all in there making pound cakes and drinking deuces and...
You wonder why when you're at a restaurant and it's taking so long for your girl to get back, it's because she's in there chatting with other females.
Yeah, but when you're handling your business, that's what I'm talking about. I ain't no way over there. Hold on. Yeah, I'm down for
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said it. You brought it up, but that is clever.
Yeah.
You get the Miss Clever Points Award today.
Yes. I had literally, let me tell y'all, I had 6 of my celebrity friends. They had no idea that we were recording this in a restroom. Like, I had WWE Hall of Famer, he's like 6'5", squeezed in a tub, and I'm sitting on the sink talking. Yes.
Did it go viral?
Yes. We have clips, we have the website. I could give y'all the web. Okay, so if you go to shittalkpodcast.com, shittalkpodcast.com, we have all 6 episodes up, and yes, and I'm working on season 2 right now because, no one knows they're coming into a restroom actually. They don't know that. It's all shot.
And the cameras, what kind of...
Oh, we had a full grip lighting full, and we were in a very upscale, nice restroom. It's nice. Check it out. shittalkpodcast.com. I had a whole entire crew, craft service, all that, caterer.
So So part of the episode, the part of the episode actually shows their initial.
You see their honest reaction. We had Momo Rodriguez, who is from George Lopez show. I went to high school with Momo. Like, he's episode 1, like, legit. Like, we had a Price is Right model. Yeah.
The women are in the bathroom with the men?
No, separate episodes, 6 episodes. 6 episodes. 6
Oh, the female 6'5".
Mm-hmm. So we have like 6 different talent. Yes. Yes. Full crew, everything.
Wow.
And you're learning about these people in a very comfortable environment. You're getting educated on, yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm all about being a visionary.
No, you're having a shit fit about this being in that. But when was Hill Street Blues on?
Uh-oh.
90s, late 80s?
80s, yeah.
80s.
The first scene in a bathroom while someone's on the can was in Hill Street.
Wow. Wow.
So that's
Fact check.
Yes.
Yes.
Was it a woman or was these a men?
It was Dennis Franz.
Oh, Dennis Franz, I worked with him.
Character talking to his wife.
Thank you for backing me up. Yeah.
But look how far she had to go back.
Actually, that's a good place to say. I want to give the audience a chance to ask y'all some questions, and they got them. So yeah.
Is there anyone that you absolutely loved working with that you would love to hear from again?
Oh man, well I tease Michael Bay all the time, but Oliver Stone, I would love to work with him because he gave me an opportunity in a football movie to do a scene with one of my favorite actors was Al Pacino, who was the coach in Any Given Sunday. So I actually got a chance to exchange lines with Al Pacino.
Nice.
Yeah. So, you know, yeah, I would love to get that call again. Yeah.
You know, for me it was honestly Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul on Breaking Bad, but we're still great friends, so we still hang out, and yeah, so they were, I had the best experience with them because we spent 6 weeks on the pilot, and then episodes after the show got picked up, and so we had a chance to, but you know, they're out promoting their Mezcal brand, Dos Hombres, so they take a tour all over the country. When they stop in Chicago, I'll go hang out and, you know, have some food and stuff, so yeah, I think that.
I would say, so it's a tie for 2 people. One would be Zendaya, because I worked on Casey Undercover. My first job in this industry was 1998, I'm just letting y'all know. But, so it would be Zendaya, I love her work, super talented. And then second person would be Forrest Whitaker. I got a chance to work with him on Black Panther, the first one, and would love to work with him again. Yeah.
I want to add one more. I have to give a big shout out to my boy Eddie Murphy. So when I worked with him in Norbit, he handpicked me for the role of Blue, which he suggested. He asked me could I do an impersonation of Mike Tyson. Like, you know, he told me like this, yeah. And then so that's my character, Blue. Just get the hell out of here and all that. So I didn't get to talk normal like Terry Crews or Clifton Powell. Best Beach had a brother that talked like this. So, but for that part, that role, those residuals, hell yeah. My daughter ate that week. And her mama.
Oh my God.
So yeah, those Eddie, Michael Bay, and Oliver Stone. There's some more. Dwayne was great. I worked with him in Faster. Him and I had we had a knife scene in a strip club. Yeah, so it got pretty heavy. Yeah, don't let all this smiling fool you.
Yeah.
There's a switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you got great arms.
Thank you.
No, I'm talking about him.
I
I saw through the shirt, man. I was
the
like,
shirt.
You killing it over there. No, you got great arms.
Thanks.
Yes.
That was a good question. Thanks. Preguntas?
Are there any aspiring writers, actors, directors here? Oh, there you guys go. Well, maybe you guys have questions about getting started, about the business, about anything.
Yeah, like for example, like when you write stuff, I know like I've heard this before with the role that you do, you write down like a bunch of documents about like how you built the universe, like your characters, right? So stuff like stuff that normally most people won't actually see in regards to what we know it to understand the inner workings of the world and the characters. So my question is, you go from that to also you go through the outline process, you have your story throughout, but then you actually go through the process of writing it, and how do you like difficulties like, okay, how do you handle dialogue, character, point of view, like, what's considered too much, what's considered too little?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think that when I'm writing screenplays, it's a completely different process than when I'm writing a novel. For the screenplay, specifically for The Wing Walker, that one there was outlined every single scene before I ever started the first draft of the actual movie. And so, you know, there it was a combination of, you know, getting to know the characters in a much more structured way, you know, and then they're different kind of, you know, structure as well, like, right, let's just say the plain 3-act structure, act 1, a big act 2, and then an act 3. And so starting off with just obviously knowing the characters fairly well, the story of where I'm going, and then slowly, I outlined initially the first, let's say, 12 big moments of the space. All of it's malleable, all of it's going to change as I get to know the characters and throughout. But then I'll start outlining all the scenes in between. And in that case, it just worked because when I started writing the first draft, it was, you know, I knew these characters so well, and then I was able to easily, you know, readjust certain scenes, get rid of certain scenes, add new scenes, and then the characters kind of, like, I know they, you know, it's a little cliche to say they start talking to you, but there is something about the process where they do kind of start speaking to you, right? And it becomes a little bit easier. And like they always say, I agree with shitty first drafts. I think it's super important. Just get it on the page, make sure that the story's there, and then you slowly draft 2, draft 3, draft 4. And then about draft 4, then you can send it out to someone that you respect, that's in your same field, to give some good structural notes, story, depending on what it is that you're looking for, you know. And then on the novel side of writing, completely different. I have an idea, specifically with this story. I know the characters, I know how the story begins and kind of ends, and then I commit to writing 1,000 words a day. And so for the past 2.5 months, it's been 1,000 words a day. And you know, some days will be 500, other days it'll be 1,500, and I just go back and forth in that way. That's very much pantser style that they call it, obviously, where I'm just writing, you know, in the moment, right? I'm aware of like where I'm going, but it's all happening as I'm seated there. And you'd be surprised if you commit to just doing it daily, it becomes easier and easier, and the characters again start speaking to you. And I say that because being 55,000 words in, it's proof of that. You know, there's days where I'm like, I don't even have a thought or an idea of what's about to happen, and I just write that first sentence, terrible first sentence, a terrible second, third, fourth, and they add up, and the words add up. There's times where I leave the table and I'm just like, that was awful. And it's okay, I'm not going to judge it, I'm not going to even look back and try to edit. I haven't edited a word of the manuscript yet. I'm just going to go all the way through, finish it at about 80,000, 90,000 words, and then I'll worry about the next pass after that. So I think just making time for it, that's the hardest part, is showing up in the morning. I get up at 6, I start writing around 6:30 to 7, and sometimes the 1,000 words come in an hour, sometimes in 2.5 hours, 3 hours. Sometimes I'll split it up. You know, I'll go do things that I have to do and come back in the evening. But what I have committed to is the process. And in that process, you know, that's where also the world building, depending on what you're writing. If you're writing fantasy, it's a lot more. You'll understand and begin to develop your own process. And I'm big on that. Some things don't work for certain people. You know, especially, you know, I use the example of the acting world. Some actors go and, you know, they're MFA students out of college. They've studied Meisner, Stanislavski, Viola Spolin, the method, and then you have someone that hasn't taken any acting classes. They pick up and cold read, go in there and book the job. Yep. Right? So you have to find your own process in the writing.
I want to add to that. That's so dead on. Yeah, finding your own process and what works for you. I don't know if there's anyone in here that's like writing comic books, but I'm in the process of writing a comic book. And I'm not really big into name dropping, but I'm gonna mention this person's name just because they helped with what I got going on right now and actively helping. So I have this story, and I went to this particular comic book vet, and I had, you know, it's very important when you're writing something to like have an idea of like your characters, like what the story is going to be about, kind of have an idea, but you don't have to know everything. I thought I needed to know what the hell was going to happen in the beginning all the way to the end. And this person told me, hey, you don't have to know the whole thing because it could change at, you know, you could change that character and what they do in book 2 or issue 2 or issue 3, right? Because we get so stuck on thinking that we have to know how it's going to end immediately in the beginning of the process, and we haven't even finished anything. So, you know, get stuff out, but then have an idea of your characters and know that that character might change. You might have had a whole idea for that character, and then as you're writing, it's like, well, I don't even want that character to do that anymore. I want them to do something else because now this character has affected that person. So I do want to shout out Todd McFarlane because he is amazing. I do call him a friend. And he told me that, like, this character can change, you know, an issue down the way, a third one. So have an idea of the characters and concept, but don't think it has to be perfect. Don't think you have to know the ending before you even know your beginning, right? Because things shift. Things change based on what someone else is doing in your story. But get it, you know? Does that make sense? Okay.
I would like to point to that too, is like look at the most of the base franchises out there, they never have, like a lot of them, they never like as sequels. They pretty much came up with the worlds and universes and went on. I can think of like really good examples from Star Wars, Halo, or even like franchises like Mass Effect. Even when they say like we find this out as a trilogy, they never really did. They go on one at a time until their story ultimately crescendos into its natural, almost naturally into crescendos into its natural.
Yeah, and they make it that way too, because if you think about it, a lot of these comic books, well, not a lot, but some of them, confusion is good, right? They leave you thinking, you're like, what's happening next? And you thought you might have had to fill that space, but that space, leave that to the reader. That point that you're trying to make, you might not even develop that fully until 6 issues down the line. So that's how these sequels and these universes are happening, right? I was having a conversation with someone yesterday, and it's like, did they really have to kill off T'Challa just because Chadwick died? Technically not, right? We don't know what universe that could have been in. They could have made that shit in another universe, and we could have seen a new Black Panther in 2 more movies. So just know that, you know, to what you're saying, like, you can create a new line here, a new line here. You might think it's confusion, but for the reader, that might be enticing. That might stir them to want more, desire more. So yeah, and it generates that creative spark. So.
Excellent. Well, we got time for one more quick question.
I'll try to make it quick, but as someone who is new to the industry, I've only ever gotten theater acting jobs. For when I'm not saying this to sound cocky, I'm saying this to, as you say, put it out into the universe, eventually get onto either a film or a television set. What are some tips that you guys would know to like try to avoid, or like something that you learned? I pretty much just don't want to be known as like the new guy that watches like, hello, where is everything around here? Oh, I'm supposed to go over here. Okay. Like I know I'm still gonna be that guy, but like just something a little lessen the effect.
Don't be afraid to ask a goddamn question.
Thank you.
We get so, I don't know what it is with people being so intimidated to ask a question. Ask. That's why they have these job titles. Your director, if he's giving you a direction and you don't understand, it is okay to say, hey, can you please explain that further? What is it? So do you want my character to do A, B, or C? Like, you can ask questions to these people. There is no reason to be afraid, because the last thing you want to do is walk around being confused. And when you're asking questions, you're keeping it clear and transparent for you and your peers and your scene partners or whatever. So I'm always wanting to say, ask questions. Don't leave room for confusion.
Let's let one of the ladies ask, from the three ladies that are there. The gentlemen have already spoken. Let the ladies ask. Did you have a question?
Yeah, as like actors, what is some advice you would give like the writers of the scripts to help like you guys better acting?
Man, I get no writer no goddamn. You won't get fired. No, you pretty much won't get to a writer unless you are the lead actor. But if you know, like Tom Cruise can talk to the writer, blah, 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 I can talk to the writer, she can talk to her. But for the most part, you're going to be dealing with the director, like she spoke of. So you don't think about you're going to give writers. They might overhear. If you're doing television, the writers are usually right there with the directors, and then you got the script supervisor. But you're not going to be able to, if you're having trouble enunciating the word, then you might be able to say, can I say this? But the writers, they're very sensitive about rearrangement. But they know if it's better for the actor or for the scene or him, the director, right? Am I right or wrong?
Yeah. I think that, television is a writer's medium, right? And then the film is a director's medium. And so if you're a writer, in my movie, when the director, as soon as I handed it over to the director, it was his vision, and it belongs to him. And he'll if he has questions about the script, he's like he said earlier, there's times where we're going to cut some scenes out for budget purposes, or he needs rewrites on something, because the director's not going to come on unless they're 100% sure that they want to put their vision on this script. In television, as he mentioned, your job is to answer to the showrunner of the show, and that's the only thing. You don't have to worry about the actors ever. Now, if you're asking how to communicate with actors, because like you said, writers usually are on set when they're shooting their episode, they're funneling through the director. Every once in a while the director says, oh, the writer's here, let's talk to the writer, right? Sometimes the writer is the showrunner for that episode, so it's even easier to communicate with the showrunner.
Explain to him what a showrunner is.
Yeah, so the showrunner essentially, many showrunners are the creators of the show, not all the time, but many times, and they are the final word outside of the network studio. The final word, everything funnels to the showrunner. From costumes, you name it, whatever question is asked, the showrunner has the final say on it.
They have the relationship with the studio.
Yeah.
They wouldn't broker the deal, so it's like their baby. And so even other executives that would be on the billing, they don't have precedence over the showrunner. So, but if you're an actor and you just feel like, as long as you're not changing the content of the story and the trajectory of where the story going, if you want to say this word instead of that word, they may let that slide. But if you're just a guest star, because everything in Hollywood is billing, y'all have to understand this is show business. Show comes first. Everything we're talking about is talent-wise, is craftsmanship. It's different than show business. That's what, you understand?
Yeah.
But
There's four roles in the television industry as an actor: the co-star role, the guest star role, the recurring role, and the series regular role. And the difference between them is a contractual agreement, right? The co-star pays a certain amount of money and has you contractually for a certain amount of days. The guest star, same thing. It jumps up from about 1,200 to about 9 to 12,000, depending on the network. The recurring space, if you're a top of show guest star, meaning that you can do multiple episodes, it's that same payment. Once you jump into the series regular space, minimum SAG numbers on a, let's say, primetime television show is around 20 to 25,000 an episode to start. And it moves from there all the way up to...
Tell them about Friends, what they get per episode.
Yeah, $1 million an episode.
Charlie Sheen.
But that won't happen again.
Yeah.
That won't happen again in this business, yeah. But so it is, I think if you are a writer, I think, just focusing on telling the best story. If you're writing for television, the best episode, and you won't have, the actors are the last part of the process, and they know what their job is, and they'll figure out a way to perform what's on the page. And again, they'll speak directly to the director, who will then communicate with you. But I don't ever have any actor, meaning I'm not thinking, I wonder how this actor is going to act this the best way possible. I'm thinking, what's the best story? How can I tell this story the best way I can? And the actors, they'll take care of it.
Extras don't speak on camera. co-stars can't say more than 13 words, and guest stars and leads, they have, they have, speeches and and all that. But you stop right at co-star. You can't speak no more than 13 words. Then your billing changes. Everything is money.
Yeah. And guest stars are contractually obligated for, like, if you shoot 9 days in a episode, you're contractually obligated for 9 days. Doesn't mean you'll shoot 9 days, but let's say you work 3 days, all the other days you're on hold.
Nice.
Yeah, those are nice days, yeah. All the other days you're on hold. If they need you, you'll have to report, and so on. And then series regular stuff is a whole different ballgame from many, many different levels. But I hope that answers the question. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, we're going to bring...
Did she want to have a question?
Shakola?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I didn't have any questions.
Do you want to say something?
Tell us about the best experience you've had working on any project.
It's like if you got several kids picking out your favorite. Because I go for paycheck first, so let's see. Most money I made was Transformers. But when that Northern residual came in the mail that one day, I was
The
like,
best experience you've had.
The best experience.
ladies first, you first.
You know what? I will say this was the best experience I had, and I'm not even going to talk about like it's not even shooting. This is like in a holding area. So when I was doing Avengers: Infinity War and Endgame, so we shot both of them at the same time. I actually didn't know we were shooting both at the same time, but we had all of the Marvel superheroes in one huge area, like massive area, everyone, okay? I'm talking about from Brie Larson to Batista to Don Cheadle, like all of these people, right? Huge area, and me, non-Blake, no Blake, right? So we're all in this huge area. And we were waiting to figure out like what we're about to do, because we're doing, I don't know if you guys have ever seen any of those movies, but there's this part where there's like a portal thing, and all of the superheroes are like going through their different portals. So we're all basically waiting to be staged and placed. So we're in this big area, and then Anthony Mackie walks into the area, and he sees me. And he goes, Janeshia! I'm like, hey. He was like, I've been thinking about you, girl, but not in that like lose my job kind of way. And I was like, oh, this is like hilarious. But I thought it was like, that was like one of my favorite moments, because like all of the superheroes were in there, and all of them was like, here go Anthony with that crazy shit again. You know, like they all know him, he crazy. And I was just like, oh my God, that's right, shouting me out in the middle of all of these people. Yeah, but no, it was like really fun. But yeah, my favorite moments were like working on Falcon and Winter Soldier. Yeah, they're just amazing. They're funny. And when you can work on a project, because I love to laugh, I'm super goofy. And when you can work on a project with people who like working and having fun, it makes the environment so much more peaceful and pleasant and fun. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
For me, it was after 10 years of trying to get my movie made. I remember we were shooting on the same lot in Baja California where they shot Titanic. It was called Fox Studios, and we were on set there, and I was sitting next to one of my best friends, who's my creative partner and director of the movie, and we were getting ready to shoot our first scene, and I looked over at him and I said, can you believe that they gave these two idiots $5 million to shoot this movie? And it was just a moment of like, you know, it was because it was such a big set, and we were on this studio lot, and we were having like this fake paper mache whale being built out of wood, and like it felt like such a massive project. And so I was just confused and in awe and excited and terrified and
but you was faking it.
Oh,
you was trying
yes, absolutely.
You knew everything.
I knew everything. Any question would be answered. And so it was that moment, like sitting in the chair with him and saying, making that comment. And so that was pretty exciting.
Okay, so y'all remember when I told y'all Meter Man was really my first SAG project in 1990. Yeah. So my first guest star was Homicide: Life on the Street, if y'all can remember that. In 1990, right before Baltimore got The Wire, we had a show called Homicide: Life on the Street. We get all the criminal shows in Baltimore. I mean, you know, The Coroner, The Wire. So I went into audition for a role called for a gun dealer called Lemonhead Boggs. Right? I had same bald head, you know, I just shaved last night, I had hair. But in 1998, I shaved my head with it. And then, so I'm walking on set, I'm all proud, my first guest star, I'm walking around the corner, and y'all know Giancarlo Esposito?
Yes.
He was in School Days, and
Yes.
was he in Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
Right, that's my boy, right. So, I'm just coming around the corner, and he's sticking his head out the trailer, out makeup, and he sees me, he goes, Lemonhead! Lemonhead! Never met him, never met me. And welcomed me on set, it was so professional. Made me feel so good. Him and I went in my trailer and smoked a spliff. And then went to the set. I was like, I'm smoking a joint with the character in School Days. What's Giancarlo? School Days and School Days. Right. I'm sitting there going to this tripping, man. But and so I try to carry that same warmth with actors walking on the set, and these guys do too, because you're just so nervous, and you're just trying to make everything right, and you gotta fake it till you make it. You gotta, everybody have a Lemonhead moment. If you got the right, imagine Tom Cruise calling you Lemonhead. You know, Lemonhead! Lemonhead! And I just did what he was doing, I just laughed. I was like, okay. And then I got an Emmy. No, I'm just kidding. I did good.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you all for spending this time with us here at the panel, at the con. You'll all be here tomorrow as well.
Yes.
So please feel free to come and see them tomorrow, ask them your questions.
He ran out of money, I'm not coming tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
10 a.m. tomorrow.
But thank you all for coming to FunCon. These cons happen because you all show up, right? And so thank you for that.
Thank y'all
Thank
so
you
much.
guys. Thank you for being here.
Literally, thank you guys for your passion and presence.